Well, hello everyone. Welcome to today's ad-free live stream. We are streaming over the lunch hour, the lunch macro here today. Had some stuff come up earlier this morning, and quite frankly, I'm okay with it. We're gonna see if we can pass an eval account here today. I got about $500. We'll go over some of the trades that I have taken already. And it's going to be an overall good day. I'm curious on who's going to be joining the stream here today because it's definitely a different time. But if you're here for the first time, I'm glad that you decided to join us. Super excited that you're here. Now, this channel is all about helping share my daily trading bias, as well as giving you a front row seat to all the action. I'm going to be sharing all the trades that I've taken, along with a detailed explanation of what I was thinking, why I took the trade, and help teach you how to analyze and come up with your own bias yourself. That's what this channel is all about, so super glad that you're here. Also, if you're looking to take your trading to the next level, you can do so by using the code DTJ, where you can get 80% off your next Apex account. That is $33 for a 50K account or $29 for a 25K account. You can use the code DTJ. I'll drop that link down in the chat for you to use if you would like to do so. Other than that, let's go ahead, open in prayer, and which I pray on all my streams. This is, day trading Jesus. That's what the channel's about. So that's what we're going to be doing. So, Father, we honor you this morning. We thank you for the opportunity we have to build wealth, to exercise discipline, to exercise our personal responsibility with the resources you've given us. Father, I pray for increase. I pray for blessing. I pray for opportunities where we can get better. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, folks, how we doing? So if you're on stream, don't be afraid to say hi if you're here for the first time. Love to meet you, hear you, chat with you, and we're going to be going over... We've had quite a drop here today, so we're going to start and take a look. I did, unfortunately, before I was able to get streamed because I sat down at my desk and we were already, in the middle of this beautiful collapse. I ended up taking a short right here for about 50 handles. It was more like about 40 handles because I got in a little bit lower. Got in somewhere around there. Ended up getting about 40 handles on that trade. Obviously, could have held it for much more, but it was a beautiful trade for my small account challenge. If you're not following on X, I'm doing a small account challenge, and all my trades that I take for that small account challenge, I'm posting screenshots and everything. We'll be going over that trade here this morning. I also took a 930 model, which we have a model inside of our Purpose Driven Trader Academy, where I took right here, right off the open. Actually, it was this trade right here. I mean, that was pretty nice. I did not get all of that, which it would have been really nice to be able to get all that, but didn't need to. I got the numbers that I wanted and got out. So we're going to take a look at all of that here this morning. And at the same time, we're going to see if we can pass an eval account. We have an eval account that's sitting at 52.4. So we got about $550 left that we need to get. We're going to get that to the appropriate size. We'll take 2 contracts on any trade opportunities that we see. And we'll be looking. So at this point, what am I looking for? We already ran the London low. I don't know if we're going to actually run all the way back down here again. We need to start by looking at a higher time frame analysis. So let's look at the daily chart and let's see what we have. On a daily time frame, we haven't hit the previous day high, which is sitting right here, nor have we hit the previous day low. We do have the equilibrium of the previous day's range sitting just under the London low right here, which that could be an area of interest if we're going to target the midpoint of that range, which is very common. It's pretty common that the following day hits or comes close to the midpoint of that, and so we've been above it. That could be a draw for price to continue lower. We'll see if that wants to do that. We are at 12.15, and it doesn't look like price is stopping at all. We're going to put an inversion right here. If we can run through that inversion, I may be interested in taking a short right there towards some of these equal lows. There's equal lows that are sitting right here. Those are nice equal lows right there. So we'll look at that as a potential trade for our eval account if we can get down there. But we've already tagged the London low. That's the big thing. So let's drop down to the 4 hour here. Actually, I want to jump up here to the weekly. When you look at the weekly, we are inside a giant weekly range. This orange line to this orange line. And the only clear direction I have would be higher. That seems the most obvious direction, is to run this low resistance liquidity sitting here on the weekly time frame. And so I like that concept, but we also have this volume imbalance sitting right here that we've just been working through. So we have not gotten above this volume imbalance for the most part. And that's kind of where we're sitting right now. So it makes your narrative extremely difficult to identify. And so you have to go through, you have to use different targets for your lower time frame trades, because some of these higher time frame targets aren't hit. I mean, look, for example, we have a high, low, higher high, but we have the daily right here, right? And we have this nice sell-off before we hit a key level. That doesn't make it very easy to trade. It requires a lot more being nimble. I know a few people that have posted on X already that tried to take a short in all of this and basically got stopped, right? But what was happening here? Well, from 11 o'clock, which was right here, I just want you to look at what happened. Here's 11 o'clock, and then here's noon. Okay? Now, let's move this line to actually 11:45, which is the beginning of the macro in my book. My macro starts at 11:45. ICT's macro starts a little bit different. So 11:45 is right here. So from 11 a.m. to 11:45, we just did all of that. Straight consolidation. Straight consolidation. And to be honest, very often when I'm at 11 o'clock, I'm trying to go short and I'm expecting a quick move. I'm expecting this just to, do one of these. But it doesn't. It does this, and a lot of people got burned through all of this. I, by the grace of God, was not sitting in all of this because I probably would have tried to take a short. Now, I don't think I would have been stopped out because my short would have been right around this level here. But I wouldn't really have profited much, and I would have had to held for over an hour to partake in this. But what I did do is when I sat down right around 11:45, we're seeing this right here. And when we started seeing these three candles just consistently start moving lower, I'm like, we're in the macro. We've consolidated for an hour straight. The opportunity to go short, I think, is right here. So I went short on our small account challenge, and because I felt really confident in the trade, I actually sized up. I doubled my contract size. I went from 1 micro to 2 micros, but I reduced my stop loss, and I cut my stop loss in half. So normally I have a 10 to 20 handle stop loss. I reduced it from not 20 handles. I reduced it from 10 handles down to 5 handles. Because I'm like, all right, I'm willing to take a bigger reward, but I'm not willing to increase my risk. So that's what I did. And I went short right at 11:48, 11:49, and went short and really didn't see any drawdown hardly at all. And we just pushed lower and lower. And my target was this swing low sitting right here. It was sitting right there. And you had your midnight open. Obviously, that would have been nice to hold on for a little bit longer down to that fair value gap. That would have been really nice, but I didn't take that, so that's okay. But when I'm looking at what's next, if I'm going to take a trade, if I want to pass this eval account, what's next? Well, quite frankly, we bounced where I thought we might, and I want to see if we get resistance here. I want to see if we find resistance around this level to see a continuation lower. I would like to see us hit these equal lows. I would like us to run to Monday's equilibrium. That would be nice. I think there's narrative for that. And then we have price coming up to this low right now. So we'll see how price wants to react to this level here and see what it does. Let's drop down to the 4 hour here. Let's see what we got going on the 4 hour. Yeah, we really didn't get any displacement on this 4 hour candle right there. This candle I feel like could go either way. This current 4 hour candle, we still got an hour and 30 minutes on it. So we pushed right through this low, so that's really not of interest to me right now. And my interest goes to this level here, which also overlaps with midnight open. So I want to see how this reacts, and I want to see if I can get 10 handles in retracement here. Target just 10 handles from this. It's pretty aggressive right now. But this would be the area that if we're going to get a retracement, we could get just a nice little reaction here. I'm going to put 2 contracts in right there. All right, so I'm in for 2 contracts right now. I'm going to see if it wants to give me 10 handles in a reaction. So that would be 785 down to 775. So we're going to put a limit order just for 10 handles and see if we can get that reaction there. I'm also going to just do a stop loss for 10 handles. 85, 84 to 94. We could come all the way up to this down close candle here. So I'm anticipating that, but this is not a, unless we just push right through it. I do like these types of setups for not high leverage, that is. All right, let's see how it reacts to this level here. So that's pretty much straight running with absolutely no retracement. I'd like to see it retrace down to here, to be honest. Now look how we just closed. We closed red on that candle. That's a good sign. I like that. It's just hopefully we don't get stopped out. We're trying to get $600. So technically, I would need 15 handles to pass. I guess we could see if it wants to reach for 15 handles. about here. It's not looking good. We just sweeped into the 15-minute fair value gap on this 15-minute candle. I like that. Let's see if we can get a retracement now that we hit this 15-minute fair value gap. There we go. My target usually is 10 handles here, so I will sell this if we get 40 ticks and I see it hesitating. I will sell that. That's not fun. Paris, welcome. How you doing? What's up, Tony? On a little bit later today, we're taking a initial breaker exposure for 10 handles on an eval account, seeing if we can hit that. This is 15 handles. I will close it if we hit 10 and we hesitate. I think I went. I should have took my entry here. I should have took my entry at the body, or I should have took my entry at the low of the down close candle, not this green candle here, because that would have given me 15 handles. Lesson learned. I should have took it right here. That would have been a way better entry. Are you bearish or bullish on the weekly? I'm bullish on the weekly. Paris, all is well. All is doing great. We are green on the day on my small account challenge. We're green on my funded accounts from this morning. And now we just have an eval. I wanted to see if we can pass here. And if we hit this level here, we'll pass. But I'm not sure that's going to happen. I need to mute you guys. My wife is having car troubles, and she's on a small road trip. Give me a second. And she is on her way home. She had to take a 4-hour drive for meeting a client in a small town who's trying to do an adoption. My wife is an adoption attorney. So we didn't get what I wanted. I'm a little disappointed. Looking back, I probably should have took my entry at the low of this down close candle, which this, if I would have done it from here, that would have gave me, it actually didn't even give me 10 handles. It only gave me, no, hang on. If I went there, yeah, it wouldn't have even given me 10 handles. So that's disappointing. Here's the move. Maybe. We'll see. But ultimately, right now, though, weekly time, Zakari, I'm bullish. But right now, I wouldn't mind seeing us running for these equal lows, as well as the equilibrium of yesterday's price. So I'm interested to see if it wants to do that. This point in the day is really difficult for trading because we're inside of a range. We're inside of this range from this high to this low. And look what we just hit. We just hit equilibrium. Equilibrium of that range. So right there, we've hit it. So now it could have permission to run lower. But before I actually am interested in taking a trade lower, I need to see if it would like to give me a change in state of delivery, which in short means a close below this candle right here on the 5-minute time frame. That's kind of what I would want to see. You can see it on the 1-minute right here. I'd like to see it close below this on a 5-minute candle. To see if we want to continue lower. Green candles on the left to act as support. I see support and resistance. We'll see what it wants to do. The 15-minute time frame has wicked into this 15-minute fair value gap. And as I look at it, honestly, we could fill the whole thing as well. You can see we wicked into it right here. Dang it. The 5-minute did not close where I wanted it to. My idea played out. We're at the right spot. I'm just deciding if we want to see if we can get another 10 handles lower. If it wants to run another 10 handles lower after coming up into this. These are hard. These are probably B plus setups. Taking a short right here. B plus. They could work, but they could also fail. But since I'm on an eval account, I'm not opposed to doing it, but I want to see how it wants to react. I might do a tighter stop loss. That was a nice rejection. I could see us coming up all the way to this volume imbalance right here. I'm going to go ahead and wait. I'm going to see if it wants to reach up a little bit higher. I closed my trade at break even. I want to be a little more conservative on this reach. See if it wants to grab it. I think it will before it drops. $10 to 15 tick wiggle room. Yeah, you can. But here's the thing, if I'm wrong and I let it get all the way up here, then that turns to a 40 tick loser, and I just didn't want to do that. Even on an eval account, I want to treat this, be cautious with it. Yeah, I mean, the trade worked out. It would have worked out nicely. And no, it wasn't because I was scared. I wanted to wait for a better entry. Because the main reason is if we were at the top of a range, if this was the top of a range and there was, you know, only the last high was over here and we made a higher high, I wouldn't have sold that. But because we have such room to the upside, I'm just trying to be careful that I'm not getting caught in just a pullback for a continuation higher. It's the hardest part in trading in the afternoon, is trading inside of a range, because it has more random characteristics than it does when you have a clear drawn liquidity. These equal lows and this equilibrium of yesterday's range isn't a clear target. So it makes these trades more difficult, right? This morning, I took a long right off the open. I took a long right here. Well, I took this long because we hit a clear target right here. Look at this clear target. We grabbed London low, and then we rejected it immediately. So right at open, I'm like, there's no way we're coming back down here. We don't need to. We've already tagged London low. We should see it price move higher. And that's exactly what happened. Because there was a clear target achieved, and now it's time to run the other direction. Here, I don't know what that clear target is, whether we've grabbed it down here or not. I don't know. So it just requires you to be a little more nimble, a little more careful, a little more precise, a little more cautious, and as a result, you can miss out on trades. Now, does it look like we actually missed out on this trade? No. It didn't actually run. So I'm finding as I trade longer that the more patience I have, it only helps me. Yes, I may miss out on a trade, but I'm going to miss out on potential losses way more than I will on missing trades that have big wins. So if you wanted my 2 cents, you got it. Look at that green. Look at this 30-minute candle right here. It is a giant wick. That is not conducive of prices moving lower for the 30-minute. The hourly has 18 minutes left. We have this order block right here. And we haven't hit the highs yet, which are over here. So I really could see this run in the other direction. We are focusing on the channel that we're currently in right now. But I think this is a fake. How you're describing what a channel is, I think this is a fake channel that I don't want to lose in. Let's look at the 2-minute here. 3, 4, 5. Nothing clear. I'll look at taking this 1-minute actually from that purge lower. I'm also seeing on ES the makings of a market maker sell model. That's pretty nice. But it's also inside of all of this range. So do we really need to balance it out anymore? This whole range has already been balanced. So if anything, we could just move higher from there and run out liquidity sitting here, fill this 5-minute fair value gap sitting right there, all that. I mean, guys, there's so many sides right here. Look at this 4-hour too. This 4-hour has not been tagged yet, and we left it. There's liquidity under this 4-hour candle right here. So I see reason for price to run lower also. This looks nice. We're also at the end of the lunch macro. Honestly, you see how all of this price action here was I mean, look how pretty that is. And then at this point right here around 12:30, we just start going up and down, up and down. Yes, it's still within structure and it looks nice, but there's definitely significantly more overlapping of the candles when this is like it's just running. It's this price action that I've lost so much money in before. And we already had a losing trade. We already had a losing trade in this. And it doesn't surprise me. It's this type of price action here that we want to be a part of. You can almost buy here and sell here over and over again. You don't want to do that though. That's just nerve-wracking. Esteban, how you doing, my friend? Oops. I can see us working our way this way. Makes sense. It's a pullback. It could go up, but we want to avoid a fake out. You're correct. Because think of it this way. We want to wait until price tells us where it's going to go. And I see reason for it to go higher, and I see reason for it to go lower. I see more structure to the downside for sure. So it's just your risk tolerance if you want to take it or not. I'll wait for the displacement lower and then for it to come back up into a fair value gap for the continuation lower. For those of you that are joining us, if you do not, or if you use Apex, Apex is doing an 80% off sale right now. You can use the code DTJ. I have it tagged at the top of the chat. You can use the code DTJ as in Day Trading Jesus, and you can get 80% off your next eval account. It comes out to be about $29 for a 25K account and $50 or $33 for a 50K account. You can use that only if you use Apex. Check out the code. Will always give you the most updated discounts Apex offers. If you don't use Apex and you don't want to, no worries. No pressure to do nothing. But look how we're overlapping in this price action right here. Just all this price action right here. This is what I want to stay away from. Oh, cool, Paris. Well, if you use the code DTJ, I'd be grateful. Thank you. Have you done any 25K evals? I did before. I've done it multiple times. They're really easy to pass just because they're low. They only require 1,500. But I think I've just mentally gotten comfortable with the 50K account because I've learned to know how I need to manage my risk on a 50K account. And you just have to be way more tighter on a 25K account. That I'm kind of defaulting back to my 50Ks. Thank you much. If we don't, we are at the end of the lunch macro, but the PM session doesn't start until 1:30. So technically we got about 40 minutes before the PM session begins, and we'll see if price just kind of consolidates until then or not. If we get a price run, that'd be nice, but I don't think that's going to happen. Question is are we going to get a fair value gap in here? I'm liking this displacement. We need to wait for the next candle's close to see if we get a fair value gap. And then if we get up in here and we don't close above it, I would be interested in going lower. If we close above it, I may play it to play towards that high. We'll see what this candle does right here. But many times you get these candles you just dig right back up through that candle, eliminating any fair value gap that's there. In this case, I wonder if I can just do a quick 5-10 handle move right here. It did leave us a small fair value gap right there. I'm treating this as an immediate rebalance to see if it wants to run lower. I doubt it's going to give it to us. These are eval accounts, folks, for anybody looking or wondering why I'm taking a trade or what I'm doing. This is an eval account. I will close this trade if we close above this box here. And I will close this trade if we hit this 5-minute fair value gap, which is what my target is. That's not the kind of close that I'm going to want. Looking at the 5-minute time frame, I'm looking at this 5-minute order block holding. That's kind of the idea. This 1-minute fair value gap is also my wanting to see price stay below this gray box as well. So we'll see if it wants to do that. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not a high probability setup. And it looks like it's going to close above. So we're going to see if it drops now. If it doesn't, I'm going to close the trade. That's where I would close the trade. We'll see if it wants to run back down or if it's going to stop me out. We got 25 seconds left on the 5-minute candle. I would like to see it expand lower to just give me a nice big black candle. We'll see if it does it or not here. If it does, the next candle could be pretty aggressive down to this 5-minute time frame, or this 5-minute level sitting here. We'll see if it wants to do that or not. I will move my stop to break even as soon as we close below that wick. If we can get down there, that is. That's not the prettiest close. All right, I'm not going to let it run against me. I'm going to move my stop to break even. All right, so it did stop me out in just a random wick. Break even trade on that. You can just see how sloppy the price action is as we're getting in that 12 o'clock or 1 p.m. time frame. All of this it's not pretty. If you guys are appreciating the stream and you're appreciating the content and the commentary, hit the like button for me. It's really, really helpful. Thank you. That little stinking wick right there, I tell you what. Looks like it's still going to just fall over for us. Oh yeah, Paris, we're done trading for the day. For the most part, we took, I took a trade, I took a short here, sold it right around here for about 40 handles, and then I also took a long here, but I only took that for 10 handles, but with heavier size. That would have been nice to hold this. That would have been really nice. Yeah, this was the trade right here. This was the setup. And that happened 2 hours and 15 minutes into the market open. So you'd have had to sit and wait for 2 hours. That's hard for a lot of people. It's hard for a lot of people to be patient, but I'll tell you what, if you can be patient, you can be successful at trading. You really can. Main reason people lose money is because they're not patient. They take B+ setups instead of A+ setups. They don't have the patience to wait for the A+ setups. Now, maybe you don't know how to recognize an A+ setup, and that's another issue, but that's solvable. Most people have an idea of what they want to trade, but then they trade everything in between while they're waiting for what they're supposed to be waiting for. Thanks, Paris. We'll keep winning. We'll keep having a green day. Come hang out with us. We're live normally, everybody. We are live 5 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We are live right at market open we go live at 9:15 New York time. And then I think, Patrick, to your point, I think on Tuesdays, because of just the schedule that I'm going to fall into since we're out of the holiday season and everything else, I'm probably going to do a PM stream or a noon or PM macro stream on Tuesdays. Because I have obligations in the morning on Tuesday that I just have to take care of. So I think to compensate for not being able to stream on Tuesday mornings, we'll stream Tuesday either over the lunch macro or the PM macro, which we did the lunch macro today. Nice trade, nice movement here. Yeah. Happy to. All I can tell you, if you want to learn anything, is don't trade this. Do not trade this. This is no good. I do like this inversion though. If we close right there, that's nice. This is an eval account. I might be willing to try this. I wouldn't do this on a funded account. What I'm going to do here. That sweep of liquidity right there in 16 seconds. If we close below this, I might be interested in seeing if it wants to run lower. It's not a high probability trade. And it didn't give us the entry, so no entry. Zakaria. Is that Zakaria. Are you talking about for my entry right at 9:30? Is that what you're referring to? No, for my entry on this, Zach. Okay, cool, Zach. My entry for this was based on a model that I share inside my Discord called the 930 model. I take it every morning. I decide if I'm going to take it every morning. I don't take it every day because some of the conditions I just don't like, and for the most part they were. I'm correct in that, but this trade here right at 9:30 is called the 9:30 model, and it's inside my Purpose Driven Trader Academy and Discord that I have. That I share it with them. I will eventually share it with everybody on stream and do a video on it, but it'll probably be later this year. But that has a whole different set of rules and things that I look at to determine if I'm taking a long or a short right at 9:30. If you're interested in checking out the Discord and the Purpose Driven Trader Academy, you can find the link down in the description. Or if you have more questions on it, you can email me. Yeah, we don't want to trade in this. We had a nice identification of where we took our first trade. When we were watching price run higher like this, I said that we're probably going to stop at one of these two lines. I took a short based on the first line right here, and I wish I took the second line. And that second line was anchored to the low of the down close candle, not the low of the swing low, which would have been a nice entry if you had the patience just to sit and wait. I mean, you put 10 handle stop loss, you could have gotten at a minimum of 30 handles on that trade. So that there is a breaker. It's a breaker model based on the law of first exposure. Just a fancy fun name that I came up with that says when you see price hit that level for the first time, you tend to get a retracement that you can actually trade off of. This one by far has a much larger extension to that. But this one, you can see it hits that level and it only goes up into drawdown about 5 handles, so relatively small drawdown in correlation to the profit that you would have been able to take. Sure. Assad, can I elaborate on what an A+ setup is? An A+ setup is going to be different for every person, but an A+ setup should have the following characteristics, okay? So I'm being very clear on that. Each trader has their own unique model, has their own unique way that they want to trade, has their own things that they're looking for when they trade, okay? The characteristics of an A+ model, all right, so now we came into this 5-minute. It wouldn't surprise me if this is just a purge for another push back higher. Either way, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take anything right now. So the A+ characteristics are going to be different for each person. But but also they should be what you follow when you're taking a trade. So when I say an A+ setup, an A+ trade, I'm saying that, hey, this idea that I'm thinking of right now has all the characteristics that I personally want to see happen for me to give me the green light to take a trade. Okay? Some people use VWAP. Some people use, the moving average. I don't use none of that crap. I'm using strictly price action. Some people are looking for breakouts and breakdowns. Some people are looking for change in state of deliveries like we have right here. Right? We have a change in state of delivery that I said I wanted to see happen, and if we did that, we may see price move lower. Well, you can use that characteristic as part of the criteria to formulate your own A+ model. Now, a A+ model obviously needs to be good enough to have a winning, has a positive success rate. You know, you got to win. It has to win 50, 60, 70% of the time. As I've been, and it doesn't have to be a super high, because if you go onto my X account and you follow my small account challenge, you'll see that most days or most weeks, I'm only winning 25% of the time, yet I'm up. I'm positive on my challenge because the other trades that I take are so large and the risk that I'm risking when I lose is a lot less. So you can have so many different types of characteristics in the charts that you're looking for, and you literally are putting a checklist together to determine these are the things that I'm looking for to determine that this is an A+ setup. Now that we've identified the characteristics of what an A+ setup looks like, let's talk about what I look for my characteristics, okay? I trade two types of setups. I trade the inversion model, an inversion fair value gap, and I trade breakers. Those are the two primary models or entry techniques that I trade. Every time I want to get into a trade, I'm not just clicking the button. I'm waiting for my model to show up that says, now's the time to get in. And those models have a list of criteria. Now, not all the time does all of that criteria show up. So if that criteria doesn't always show up, that now changes it from a A+ model, meaning I didn't get everything, but I just got about all of it, but I like the way the chart looks and this feels good. So even though it's not an A+, this is a B+, I'm still willing to take it because it has some of the characteristics of the model for me to go short, for me to go long. And that is what I'm using to determine if I'm going to take those trades. So for when we look at up here, I was really excited about this trade for my small account challenge right here because we made a high, low, higher high, and then we broke lower right here. Well, this is a breaker. So ding, 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 there's one of my models. Now I may want to take this breaker to the downside. If I'm going to take this breaker to the downside, I'm looking for other characteristics in the charts to help determine if this is going to be an A+ type of trade. Now, this was not an A+ setup. Why? Because I really would have wanted it to hit this level right here. This was the previous day high. And I always want my trades to hit a higher time frame key level to add to that list of check boxes that I'm looking to mark to determine if it's going to be an A trade, an A-, A+, B+ type setup. Well, this one didn't actually give that. However, I liked the way price was forming. We came up to all of this consolidation here and we kind of puttered out. And then we had an aggressive move the other direction right here. Then what did it do? It gave me a 5-minute change in state of delivery. Okay? Here's our 5-minute change in state of delivery. You can see these series of up close candles right here. If I draw this line out from this point right here, this is my 5-minute change in state of delivery. I wanted to see a 5-minute candle close below this level right here. And it does at 11:25. Because it closed below 11:25 and then came back up into that now 5-minute order block right here at 11:35, 11:25, 11:35, I'm now looking for an entry. I'm now excited to take a trade because it met multiple pieces of my criteria. I have a breaker outline. I have a 5-minute change in state of delivery right here. And then the last criteria is time. The criteria of time is in the form of macros. Macros are a period of time usually at the bottom or top of the hour. So if it's, in this case, what time is this? This is 11:45, which is 15 minutes before noon. And I like to take all my trades between the last 15 minutes and the first 15 minutes of the hour. And when we see price come up into those time periods, and I see all of the other check boxes on the chart that says, hey, Tyler, pay attention, this looks interesting. When time also matches, I get excited. So on this example, I took a short right around here, right around 11:49. I went short because I had the 5-minute change in state of delivery. I had the breaker. I had time aligning with that, but I did not have the higher time frame confirmation that says we're going to roll over. So this was not an A+ trade. But because I've seen stuff happen like this before and I've been on the charts that long, I felt confident. I felt so confident that on my small account challenge, I doubled my size and shrunk my stop loss to only 5 handles. And it worked out. Now, could it have stopped me out? Absolutely. But in this case, it didn't. It only went into my stop loss about 2 handles. And then it dropped and I got a 40-point trade out of it. So I took this trade and it wasn't an A+ setup. It was an A because it didn't check off everything on my list that I wanted. Now that's the breaker model that has a series of things that I want to see to tell me if it's going to be an A+. Well, there's also another model called the inversion model. And the inversion model is when you see price break through and not find support at a fair value gap. So we have a fair value gap right here. This is a good example, okay? Normally when we see a fair value gap, I want to see price find support here and then move higher. But we don't. We actually close below this fair value gap on this candle at 10:59. Now at 10:59, that's also another macro period. So what do I have here? I have my entry model. I have the time that's aligning. Check. Another list on there. For my inversion model, I only want to have one fair value gap, typically in a price leg, or a very obvious fair value gap. This one, there's only one. There's this really small one right here, but that's irrelevant to me. This is the big obvious one. So check, that's another check on my list of things I'm looking for this particular model. I'm also looking for that higher time frame key level. No check. I didn't get that on this example, right? Just like we didn't get that on the breaker. But let me zoom in here so it makes it a little bit easier. But even though we didn't get it, I had the inversion. I had an aggressive displacement lower, which is another characteristic or check I'm looking for in price for the inversion. I'm also looking for a very obvious swing low, which we have a swing low right here, right? So we have a target. And so I can now take my entry at the close of this and set my stop at the high of the inversion fair value gap and wait. If we don't have a candle close above this, then this trade is still valid. Set my target at the low, and we get it here on the 11:16 candle. Yeah, some people will call that head and shoulders, but I'm using different characteristics, not just patterns, to determine if I'm going to take a trade or not. And those are part of that checklist that determine if a trade is an A plus setup or not. If a trade is an A setup or not. Now, they're subjective. You know, I may only have one of the 4 or 5 things that I'm looking for in a trade, but I may still call it an A or a B minus or a B plus. It's subjective. The idea is I see some of the characteristics of my model, but I don't see everything, so it's not a guaranteed entry that I'm going to take the trade no matter what, but I'm willing to take the risk based on my history with the charts. The more time you spend in front of your charts, the better you will become at recognizing when a trade is worth the risk. In this case, it was worth it for me. I didn't take this trade here, but I took the breaker over here. And that's the trade that I took. And it worked out great. I have a list of criteria for my 930 model, which I won't be sharing here. But when I see that criteria, I take the trade. If I don't see that criteria, I don't take the trade. So that's how I determine if a trade is an A plus, or whatnot. You, as a trader, need to determine what those lists of criteria that you want to see in a trade to determine if you're going to take it or not. Now, you can go to different channels, you can go to different content creators, find out what they use. Don't guarantee yourself that you're going to trade that way. Don't tell yourself that, oh, this is it. You need to then go back test it and actually see it show up in the charts. See it play out in the charts so that you can start getting more confidence when you see those setups, when you see all that criteria take place, and then you go, all right, well, all the criteria is here. I'm seeing A, B, C, D, and E. I need to take the trade. I need to take the trade to see if it's actually going to play out. I need to be willing to take that risk. We talked about this yesterday. Somebody had an account that they've had for 12 months, an eval account they've had for 12 months, and they're afraid to blow the account. Well, you have to be willing to take the risk to find out if this truly is an A plus setup. You're not going to ever find out if you're not willing to take the trade. You got to be willing to put the risk on the table to find out if this trade is going to continually give you success over time. I've done the breaker and the inversion model so much that I know it will be, and it's just a matter of, is this it or is it another one? Do I need to be patient and wait longer, wait for a higher time frame key level to be really tagged, and then take the trade? Or am I seeing enough in the charts right now? Am I seeing price action show me that it wants to run my direction right now, and maybe I need to get in early because it doesn't look like it's going to run for that higher time frame key level? That comes with time, that comes with back testing, and that comes with you taking investing that time and energy into back testing all this stuff. So that was a quick lesson. There's probably more than a quick lesson, but that is what A plus setup is. It's going to be different for everyone. You have to determine what it is. Don't take somebody's A plus setup and make that be exactly what it is. You need to turn it into your own. Now, I say this because if you take somebody else's criteria and you only use their criteria, it's never going to become your own. You have to take their criteria and backtest it. You have to take their criteria and put it through the ringer so it can now become yours. You may not change anything to their model. You may not change any of the criteria to that model, but it needs to become yours. And the way it becomes yours is by you putting it through the ringer yourself. You can't take somebody else's model and then start throwing money behind it. You'll lose money, I promise you. That's going to be it for this one. So, was that helpful? That was a lot of talking. I was on a rant there. I will turn that into a video. Most likely. I start talking about something and then I realize, you know what? I'm probably going to turn this into a video. Let's keep talking like it's a video. So, if you come back to the channel, you'll see this on a video. For those of you that don't know, that last comment there is my brother. What's up, Brian? I thought you were at work or something. And look at that, folks. During that whole time, we missed absolutely nothing. Missed absolutely nothing. This was my guess, is that we were probably going to wait till 1:30. Now, 1:30 is in 42 seconds. My guess is now we'll probably see some type of direction being decided. You take any trades today, Ryan? Man, I'm cold. All right, I'm only going to be on here for probably another. We got the PM macro coming up in 30 minutes. I don't know if I want to sit on stream for another 30 minutes. Do you see how we're leaving this area now? At least it looks that way. 1:30. Here's that inversion. All right, we got target hit on that trade. Only reason I took it is because we started moving We had the beginning of the new macro, not the beginning of a macro, but the beginning of the PM session, and then we closed above this inversion fair value gap that, to me, I said I would take a long if we got there. So timing again was everything. Target this high over here, and I think we just got about 10 handles on that. So nice little trade. So if you appreciated the content today, hit the like button for me. I'd greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. And then follow me on X if you want to follow along on that small account challenge. Today was a great trade. It was a great day today on that. What's the Discord? The Discord Biblical is inside our purpose-driven trader community. Actually, if you hang out till tomorrow, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a Valentine's Day sale, and I'm gonna give a like $100 discount to join the community, and also the actual entire trading course. So the trading course it's like 52 videos that I teach all of these concepts systematically and in order to help give you an easier time digesting everything. And then also along with that, we are building a day trading community on Discord, so that comes along with the course. But there is no monthly fee, no extra cost. It's tagged along with the purchase of the course. So you can find that information on DTJ Academy. And actually, if you hang out long enough, I'll just go ahead and do that discount now. I'll throw that up there so you can, if you're interested. No obligation, nothing like that. But Ryan, the jokster's in there. I'm in there. We got a few other people also in there. We got it growing. Look what we came up to. We came up to the consequent encroachment. We were hesitating there, so I wasn't sure if it was going to roll over, if it was going to continue. Look at that price just running, huh? All right, I am dropping that now. look at that. Let's see if what it wants to do right around this breaker again. All right, so DTJacademy.com, you can use the code VDAY100 and it will give you that discount that I just referenced before. You're in the run from 20,776. Oh, where I got in. About. Way to go. Crush it, Wilhelm. I probably should see if I can pass the rest of this eval account. Still got $600 left. Ryan, you said the 15-minute? You know, I was already bullish for us to run to these highs. It makes sense. It does. Now you guys are gonna make me stay. Here's an example of that breaker. First exposure. Your stop loss would have been 3 handles, and it's paid out almost 10 handles yet. We'll see if it wants to continue higher. Those 5-minute equal lows are, I mean, they're not significantly important, I don't think. Right over here. Three-minute closed. 2-minute closed. There's no more. The 1 minute's closed. This looks good. Let's see if we close above that order block. This is an eval account for everybody wondering. Let me check it out here, Biblical. Oh, that's my fault. Give me a second. Uh-oh. Alright, now try it. It says it's active. Sorry about that. That was my fault. I'm wanting this to wick back up, and if it's not, I'm closing the trade. No. All right, Assad, check it now. Let me know if it is or not. I'm pretty sure I just updated it. Let's see. Active. I think we had that 15-minute close, right? 37 seconds. I want to take it long right now. 30 seconds too soon. This is a little bit of a chase here, folks. It's 146. We're inside the macro right now. Biblical, did that ever work for you? I'm not liking that. That's still a valid trade. I'm not going to move my stop loss. Okay, good. I'm glad it's working. That's interesting. We may even go back down to the equilibrium of this price run higher into this 5-minute fair value gap overlapping with these mitigation block right here. I mean, when you look at what price did here from this swing low to this swing high, you can see how price came up to the midpoint of this price leg here. And then after it went to the midpoint, it came back down to the midpoint here of this price leg. Now we are on a new price leg higher. The question is, does it want to come back down to this level right here, which is in line with this high as well, to see it continue higher? All right, folks, I think I'm going to be done. I can feel it in my eyes. I can feel it in my eyes. I need to be done. Need to be done. You guys, if you want to check out the Academy or the Discord, I dropped that discount code VDay100. Also, you can use the code DTJ. I have it linked in the chat for any Apex accounts you guys use. Other than that, stay safe, guys. Don't do anything crazy. Decent day for being an afternoon. And we'll be back here tomorrow at 9:15 a.m. God bless. Love you guys. Bye-bye.